Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com, remember carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
I don't want to grow up. Do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing at theaters.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Bomber, Neutron Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
You like? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Song I made up.
It's better than the T-Rex is in your way.
What's that?
That was the one you did last week.
T-Rex is in your way.
Something like that.
It was like a Broadway show.
Yeah.
What you gonna do when the T-Rex is in the cage?
I
don't remember this.
I think it might have been better
I just made
than
it
what
up.
you just did.
Well, it's like the Fallen Kingdom musical. It's a blood transfusion.
Oh my god.
It's a blood transfusion.
I'd see that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Yes Have Some podcast. I'm already It's late.
Guys, it's late.
We're on very little sleep. We are 24 hours removed, less than 24 hours removed from Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. And we wanted to go ahead and get out these reviews, reactions, first thoughts. I know this is going to be one of those movies. Like, when you look forward to a movie for this long, you can't just break it down in one sesh.
No, you spread it out.
No.
You spread that shit out.
I think my exact phraseology was I didn't want to blow my load in just one episode. I was like, I want to do this like twice.
Yeah, you don't want to be a volcano.
No.
On Isla Nublar. You know you're in a Jurassic Park mindset when, like, today I was on the Isla Sorna Wikipedia for a while.
Trying to figure out, were you like trying to figure out if there's a reason that you just don't remember that they just don't acknowledge that island anymore?
So, Jake, that's 100% what I was doing. And according to the film canon, apparently, I don't know if it was maybe one of the books or supplemental material, but at some point they do acknowledge that there are no more dinosaurs on Isla Sorna. They were either removed.
Like they just died out?
They either died out or were moved to over in between Jurassic Park 3 and The Lost World. They were transported or moved to the park.
Dude, dinosaur transportation's not easy.
No.
Especially after watching this movie.
Wait, but apparently it is because they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks stressful.
Whenever they were doing the auction, and every time they auction off a new dinosaur, they have to drive the truck up to the gate, let it in the cage, close the cage, put the cage in there, bring the cage back to the truck. And I'm like, they're doing this for every single dinosaur?
They're quick, too. I don't know who does their staffing, but those guys are really good at their job.
Yeah.
It's very streamlined.
They must work with the Costa Rican government for some sort of staffing agency for dino transportation. That's a spinoff that I want to see. Okay. But I'm into the working man.
Staffing Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Jurassic World.
Well, cool. So listen, there's a lot to unpack here. I don't necessarily think we need to go in any kind of order. I don't even know where to start. I guess what we should start off doing is, hey, Yes Have Some podcast. Abigail, Jake.
Yeah.
Did you like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? Jake, go first.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was great. I liked it a lot, actually. And I liked it so much that now when I come out of a movie and I really like it, I get scared because I'm like, I want to be like, did I really like it? Do I need to make sure before I tell anybody? Because I don't want to be like in a bad situation where I'm like, I love this movie. And then in a month, I'm just like, I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah.
I really like Jurassic World, and I'm kind of surprised at the bad reviews, and I'm surprised at the people who maybe like the first one and don't like this one. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's keep. We're gonna get into more detail. Abigail, what'd you think?
Well, as someone who didn't love the first one being Jurassic World, I loved this movie. And just like you, Jake, I was stressed out by that fact because it was like I was cheering and laughing and enjoying myself so much during this movie that I never once questioned whether or not I liked it. But upon getting out and like looking at that Rotten Tomatoes score again and seeing some thoughts and some like of the headlines of reviews online, I was like, dude, what the fuck? I really enjoyed this movie, so I felt a little confused and betrayed, and I feel like I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Something I want to say, and this is not just for Jurassic World, but I want to say that I think Rotten Tomatoes is just it's just bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten to the point where there's a lot of people basing their opinions on whether or not they're going to go see a movie based on a Rotten Tomatoes score. And like,
I know people who do that. I know people who were like, "Oh, the Rotten Tomatoes score is bad," and I'm like, "Gives a fuck." Like, that's just regular people who are who cares?
Like,
don't fucking care.
All Rotten Tomatoes is, and like, I feel like a lot of people actually don't know this. So let's just get it out, guys. We're not reviewing Fallen Kingdom.
It's just a Rotten Tomatoes breakdown.
We're gonna tell you how Rotten Tomatoes works.
We're bringing Rotten Tomatoes down.
Okay.
So back in the day, when a movie would come out, like everybody would have like their critic that they liked, Roger Ebert or Richard Roper or fucking Leonard Maltin, whatever. Everybody.
Nimoy. I was gonna say Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy. I always went to him when it came to movie reviews.
Definitely.
2 Spocks up. Anyways, I hate myself for saying
that.
I said it's late. Listen. Back in the day, you'd read the review and you'd be like, whoa, Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 stars. I'm going to see it because I respect his opinion. Mm-hmm. Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregate, obviously, where they just take everybody's... The Rotten Tomatoes score is based on professional reviewers from newspapers and websites and things like that. And it's just an aggregate. It's some people gave it great reviews, some people didn't. The more great reviews it gets, the higher the Tomatoes score goes. It's science. Listen, all I'm saying is I disagree with the Rotten Tomatoes score in this movie. But I haven't dug deep on what people are really saying. And frankly, I don't give a fuck because we have some podcasts and we're going to talk about...
Yeah, exactly. I started
talk about how we
reading
think.
some of those reviews and I was just like, oh.
Yeah. Okay, so Abby, you liked it?
Yeah.
Jake, you liked it? Craig? Mm-hmm. I liked it.
Great.
All right.
I liked it a lot. Okay. I liked it a lot. Okay. I can't say that I liked it or disliked it or liked it as much as like I was anticipating. I tempered my expectations over the last couple months. Abby and I never watched the last trailer, the 3rd trailer they released. Mm-hmm. Well, did you see the one? We didn't see the one that had the Mosasaur in it. Because I went back and watched it today, and like that trailer gave out, like, okay, going into this movie.
I'm not sure. I know I saw a few. I know I saw the first trailer. I know I saw the trailer that they did during the Super Bowl because we watched that together, and
there was a third
best trailer.
There was a third one.
Maybe I did see the third one. I don't remember.
There was a third one where it was like. I remember we talked about it. It was like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have watched that because it just kind of gave more of the plot.
We did. We did. It just had a lot of shit in it. Hey, here's one thing I want to say about fucking trailers.
Yeah.
Stop putting the end of the movie in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, the very last line of dialogue in Jurassic World is in the trailer.
Yeah. If you go back, I watched that trailer today. There's a lot, like, that trailer shows Blue getting shot. Also, we're about to spoil the fuck out of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
You do. You see some stuff you don't realize what it is until you watch the movie, but you definitely see it's that, like, up angle.
Because I didn't know, I did not know anything about this movie past the volcano stuff. Like, I didn't know...
When the first trailer came out, that's what it was. I remember when the first trailer came out, people were like, "Oh, they showed the whole movie," and then the director was like, "Oh no, everything in that trailer is first half."
And then the next trailer came out, and was like,
we
now we showed you the whole
thing.
Yeah, now we showed.
Yeah,
Well, cool.
I would wager that the fact that I haven't watched or didn't watch those trailers before seeing the movie, it made me enjoy it more because I had lowered expectations and also I didn't know what to anticipate. So once they were off that island, I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
So
Where are they going?
that. Yeah.
In my dreams, they were going to a mansion in the middle of nowhere, but they would
Switzerland?
never do that in a Jurassic Park movie. Holy shit, they went to a goddamn mansion in the middle of nowhere. Cool. It's been 3 years since the release of Jurassic World. Fallen Kingdom was announced. The title and the logo, all that. We've known that stuff for feels like forever, like a year and a half or 2 years. Like we started getting an idea. The main thing that we kept hearing was that this movie was going to be darker. It was going to be scarier. It was probably going to be a little bit different, right? So the whole tagline, like the park is gone. Like this is, they kind of advertised it as like, this is a new beginning for the franchise. And I think when Jurassic World came out, I really liked Jurassic World, but one of the complaints that you heard about that movie was, well, it kind of was too similar to the first movie and it had a lot of the same beats and it kind of relied on nostalgia. And although this movie does have acknowledgement of the past, this is a completely different Jurassic Park movie.
Mm-hmm. It is, and I think I feel like people are complaining about that, but I feel like out of 5 movies, this is the first time that they've done something like completely different. Now, I will say like the first half of the first third of the movie, I'm like, we're just watching The Lost World here. This is a better version of the Lost World happening.
Right.
Like almost exactly, but they do quickly like kind of move past that and
almost down to the villain, yeah.
Yeah, it quickly turns into something completely different, which is not a bad thing when you've done 4 movies of just people on an island running from dinosaurs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It always starts off with oohs and ahs, but there was not really a whole lot of oohing and ahhing this time. It was pretty fucked up once they got back to the island.
Dude, it was fucked up from the very beginning, which I think, because we were just talking in our last episode about the opens of the different Jurassic World
movies. Let's talk about the opening
that
scene.
very open,
Okay.
well, that's one of my favorite scenes because it sets the tone for like the whole movie, which is a darker film, but to see the guy almost be rescued from, was it a T-Rex attack, and then be swallowed up, like that, it was funny but also like upsetting, and like I like the way that it felt, and it definitely, the rest of the movie kind of like followed suit.
No, go for it, Jake.
I was just gonna say one of I think this there are a few things in the movie that are more on the the scary side of things, and I think the fucking beginning of this movie when that submarine is underwater and you start getting like glimpses of the mosasaur,
right? Like
you see its shadow above them,
right?
And whenever their light comes on and you just see its mouth opening behind them,
right?
But it's almost like it's still super dark, but it's just light enough that you can make out that they're about to get eaten and their light goes out.
Yeah. So the
shit is like that stuff is scary.
Yeah, there was suspense and terror like right from the beginning.
Right. And anytime
you
like
didn't get that in the Lost World. Yeah, exactly.
Or Jurassic World.
World rather, yeah. Because we were talking about that open being the family's house.
You've got this little submarine, which there's actually a toy of. You can buy that thing.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Target website.
The little Abby's just shopping.
Dude,
right
I
now.
want the Lockwood Estate. I don't even like Legos, but I'm getting it.
It's very like claustrophobic. Like they're underwater. You see the gate, and you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so this is kind of the like I guess the main thoroughfare from the ocean into the where the island is, and they're recovering the Indominus Rex skeleton, or the piece of the bone for the DNA.
A piece of it,
yeah, and it's very cool. Like it was like that direct acknowledgement, like oh shit, like we saw how the last movie ended. The fucking mosasaur takes out the Indominus, and like we see the remains down there. But so. The worker, like this was the scariest opening scene of Jurassic Park since the first movie, because like and
it was evocative of the first movie. Sorry to cut in because of the rain, the slickers,
dark,
the lighting. Yes, it's terrifying. Yeah,
the lighting in this movie. I just want to say it, like the cinematography was more Spielberg-esque than Jurassic World and Jurassic Park 3 because there was like a really good balance of like, so you've got this guy on the dock and it's very stressful, it's raining, and then like there's that shot of the T-Rex behind him with like the lightning pops up and you're just like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, oh my fucking God. We were in an almost empty theater. Fun fact, we saw a midnight showing of the movie. So
yeah.
I was
even though it came out at 7, we were like, we're going to do it like the old days.
We're just going to go at midnight. That's actually a long story. We'll tell you that
later. It's a different story for a different day.
Another episode.
But then like all the stuff with the mosasaur and like when it comes out and it grabs the dude on the ladder, like that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dinosaur movie.
Yeah.
This is an action-packed dinosaur movie, and there's a lot of like people getting killed by dinosaurs. And I fucking loved it. And so yeah,
people that you're motivated to hate being killed by dinosaurs. Yes. I love that.
But it was in a slightly more. I don't want to say it was. I mean, compared to a lot of things, it wasn't graphic, but it's slightly more graphic than you're used to seeing in a Jurassic Park movie.
Dismemberment?
You're usually obscured. Like, I mean, you do see like the lawyer, you know, Gennaro in the first movie. He gets picked up, you know, and you see him get shaken around. But usually, like, you know, when Muldoon gets attacked, it's like obscured by, you know, plants, and it's like that in most of the movies. Not in this movie. Like, we see somebody get his arm, like, we see it get ripped off.
Right.
There's a few, like,
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
That's why I'm going back to see it again.
So you've got the title card, which was really cool looking. Like,
yeah.
The Fallen Kingdom logo is awesome with the lava. Like, they've done a really good job. Like, between that and the actual volcano happening in Hawaii, I am scared of lava right now. Lava's moved.
Hey, wait. You think maybe it's possible that the volcano of Hawaii is just viral marketing for Jurassic World?
Dude,
yes. I think it's possible.
That sensitive for me to say?
It's just Chris Pratt.
Nobody's died, right?
Like a limp Chris Pratt just going through the towns of Hawaii, like trying to slowly escape lava.
Oh, the crawlback bullshit. I forgot about that, yeah.
Has anybody ever said the words limp Chris Pratt before?
No.
Anna Faris.
Did
I just go
They ended it amicably, yeah.
Listen, here's the thing.
Yes, you probably
okay.
Sure it did.
Sure.
This movie takes place 3 years after the events of Jurassic World. We quickly are caught up with the fact that, like, the Dinosaur Protection Act and the Save the Dinos organization.
We're caught up with the fact that Claire Dearing is like a very woke, caught up character. Like, she's different in this movie.
She is, but it doesn't feel... What I loved about it, and I'll throw to you because I know you feel passionate about this.
I just got passionate.
Claire, her transformation feels very much normal and natural. Based on what she went through in that first movie through Jurassic World, like, I could totally see her... Like, I don't like when people are like, oh yeah, everybody complained about her running in heels and they changed her character. Like, it's more than that. Like, there's actually character development here.
I think she progressed as a character because of her experiences that she went through. And
like,
she sees them in a different light and sees herself in a different light now and has a cause and all that shit's cool.
Jake, I'll throw to you 1 second, but I want to make the point that I thought was one of the coolest things they did. And I was tired watching this movie and I still picked up on it. Like, the first time we meet Claire in Jurassic World, she's coming up the elevator and she's got her coffee and it's very static and clean and she's practicing her speech for the, you know, the pitch for the sponsors, whatever. And the elevator doors open and she walks out and it's very symmetrical and beautiful. And this time she fucking, like, the elevator doors are jammed and she can't even get through. And it's like a good representation of, like, how she's in a completely better but different place in her life.
Right. Yeah.
It's payback and redemption, yeah.
I think I watched Jurassic World, the first one, right before I went and saw Fallen Kingdom, and you know, some of the complaints about Claire in the first movie, like, I get it because she is kind of her character kind of, it sucks in the first movie, and she's annoying, but she's like that on purpose. The shoot debate, I think, is ridiculous. And it's annoying to hear people be like, she's in heels the whole time, because they point that out in the first movie. Like, there is Chris Pratt, like, Owen looks at her and says, like, you are wearing ridiculous shoes. That is a line of dialogue in the first film.
Yeah.
They're addressing that she's wearing high heels. That is the fucking point. The whole point of her character, even in the first movie, even though I don't think the character development is quite as good in the first film as it is in this one, that's why it's a fucking trilogy, you know, and it takes time to develop characters.
Yeah.
In the first movie, she's very different, and you see her, you know, she mentions the dinosaurs. She calls them assets over and over, and they're like, these are creatures. And then she sees one die, and that's when it starts. Like in the first movie, she watches a dinosaur die, and from that moment, like that is the beginning of her like journey into who she is in this movie.
And if you think that seeing all those brachiosaurs or brontosauruses die in the first movie was the most emotional thing you'll ever see with a fucking...
My
what
God.
are those? Are those theropods?
Dude, I need therapy after that.
Yeah, we're changing the name.
Apatosaurs in the first movie. This was a brachiosaur.
Well, I just wanted to make the group theropod pun. Listen, we'll get there.
That's good.
So Abby,
talk about the scene.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I wanted to get your rebuttal.
Are we still
Abby.
touching on it?
You
well,
felt,
yeah,
Abby,
I
you felt
referred to
very
it as a butthole loosening process that she had to go through in the first movie, where it's like, you know, she was uptight. And I think for me, kind of my argument against her in that movie was I wanted strong females in the movie, and there weren't any other representations of.
Yeah, there wasn't any strong females except for the 300 dinosaurs.
Oh, the fucking I know all the women are strong.
Or the T-Rex.
I know. Those are the strongest female characters in goddamn Jurassic World, the first one. But no, what I will say is, yeah, I went back. I remember being very emotional about this and like torn up, and I'm not going to harp on the high heels thing. As someone who hates high heels, I will say that I would have thrown them off and worn any other shoes if I were in her position. And I guess that kind of irked me. But it's like, I get it. You have a character and she serves a purpose, and she went through a big growth process. And I'm just grateful for that because I loved her character in Fallen Kingdom so much, and it's becoming like an obsession. I'm definitely doing a Claire costume for Dragon Con, and I want to go see this movie again because she has scenes where she's so tough and so calculated and top of her shit that it's like it's just very inspirational and awesome to watch her on screen. So yeah, I'm glad that she's there, and I'm not going to take back the things I said about Jurassic World, but you know, I will say that I love her now.
Cool. So. Bryce Dallas Howard finally bringing some making that Howard name good again.
Hey, I want to say though, like I feel like she's not the only character who's written a little better. Like I also feel like Owen in the first movie is kind of like he's a little stiff in the first movie, and he's got a few quips, but they're always like. They always seem kind of wooden, and his character seems like that's not a real person. Like no one's like that. Yeah. And I go through this thing with Chris Pratt where I always start to get tired of him. I just get to a point where I'm like, do we need more Chris Pratt and stuff? Like, is he that funny? He's starting to become annoying to me. And I feel like that, and it reaches like, you know,
it peaks.
A point.
Yeah.
It starts to peak. And then I go see a movie, and I'm like, he was great in that.
Yeah.
and I think he's better in this, and I think his character is written better in this than it is in Jurassic World. I was like, he's much better in this. Like, both of them together. And that's a thing. We've talked about this in other, movies. We've talked about this with the Marvel films, about just how sometimes when you have a trilogy of movies or even just sequels or whatever, when your characters don't go through any kind of change that you see, you just like see the same. It's static. A little boring. It's a little boring, and it doesn't feel as real than watching like these. Like when you see when these two characters like meet up at the bar and they're talking, like it all seemed very good. Like. We were just talking about Jurassic Park 3 about Grant and Ellie, you know, how weird that conversation.
Stilted,
this is kind of the same thing, you know, it's like they're not together anymore, and it's like, but it just seems so It seemed much
better.
more natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really agree with all that. I think that what I really liked about not only just the growth of the characters, I think like obviously this is like fantasy, right? We've got people who are growing up with dinosaurs, but like I'm not saying this from like I don't want to get too overly political, but I do think if in our world right now there was a bunch of dinosaurs on an island and a volcano was threatening them, I think the world would be divided. I think half the people would be like, we have to save them. We created them. We're going to be compassionate. These are animals that deserve a chance. And I think the other half of the world would be fucking assholes about it and be like, who fucking cares? And that's kind of what this movie is about. This movie touches on so much of what Jurassic Park, even the original book and the first movie, that kind of philosophical discussion of, do we have the right to do this?
To play God.
And if we do it, and it doesn't go the way we want it to, if we lose control, you never had control. By the way, little deviation. When they first go to Lockwood's mansion, and you see the portrait of Dr. Hammond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
John Hammond.
Killed me. It hurt.
It was great. It was great.
Dude, yeah.
Wait, he was a doctor, right? Did I call him Dr. Hammond?
I think he did. I think it was just...
He's a doctor in my heart.
Yeah.
He got an honorary doctorate.
Gotcha.
Post-mortem.
From you.
Okay. I'm tired. Anyways.
It's all good.
What I'm saying is, the world's in a crisis. The Senate is having a hearing. And, of course, our man... Jeff Goldblum, Dr. Ian Malcolm.
We've touched
close
him.
personal friend of the podcast.
We've been close with him.
We all kind of knew. He's been basically come out and saying he's only in one scene in this movie.
Yeah.
It's divided
Thankfully.
into the beginning of end. Thankfully?
Well, no. I wish there was more. I meant
okay.
thankfully as in we got to see him twice. Like, no, I wish there was more. Like, I definitely wanted to see more.
And Dr. Ian Malcolm's perspective is that we should not interfere. This is the natural course of, like, even though they're not here naturally, like, this is chaos. This is life finds a way. But I thought that scene was really cool. It was cool. It's always cool to see him in that character. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the cadence, and he felt very much like the original character.
But basically,
nothing like Lost World. Ian Malcolm.
No doubt.
It was like Ian Malcolm.
Bored, yawning dad.
I think it was a very smart decision, and I wasn't really expecting them to split that up and have him, kind of bookend the movie.
Right.
I think that's a great idea, and the ending. We don't have to. I don't want to get ahead of us, but the ending felt just the way that they came back to that. It felt very good. I read some stuff online, and I'm not 100% sure if this is true or if this is completely accurate, but I was reading that some of his dialogue in that scene is taken from the book, which it's been a while since I've read the book, and I didn't follow up to make sure that was accurate, but if so, that's a cool thing.
I read that too. I read that there was some dialogue in the movie from the book. I didn't know if it was that scene, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyways, Claire is working with the dinosaur Save the Dinos group, and that's where we meet our two new characters.
Well-developed side.
Abby, I know you have some thoughts on them.
Franklin Webb and Zia Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Who is a doctor.
Yeah, I thought they were both great. It's always hard in a franchise because you always have to introduce new characters, but we'll touch on them as we go because I don't want to harp on it too long. But I thought they both served their purpose and were good in the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue with either one of them.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to from the trailers. The one guy seemed annoying to me in the trailer, and I was just like, do we have to introduce new if the story, you don't have to introduce a ton of new, I think the movie could have been made without them. I know they have reasons for being there.
Right.
But I thought they were going to bother me more than they did. They both kind of show up, are in it for a bit, and then they kind of both take a back seat.
Right.
I forgot. What's the kid, the guy's name?
Franklin? Is that his name?
Franklin?
I forgot about Franklin. completely forgot
Right.
about him. And then like this was probably one of the funniest things in the movie to me when like Dr. Wu was like, "Hey, get this blood," and the guy turns around and it's
him.
Yeah.
And he's like he's
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh right, he's
Shit.
working now. Because
Yeah.
And that's
I
why I
completely
made
forgot.
this comment online that this felt like a Jurassic Park movie in the style of a Marvel movie, because there's certain, like, you know, when you're watching a Marvel movie, you got to suspend disbelief. Like, you have to understand that they're moving the plot along, and there's things that were in this movie that you just don't get in other Jurassic Park movies. Like the thing Jake just brought up, like the little like, whoa, how do you end up in the surgical mask or whatever? The thing that stood out to me that I completely buy into it and I loved it, but if you step outside and objectively think about it, it's ridiculous, is when they're in the mansion after the auction goes crazy and Chris Pratt is just fighting all of these security guards.
That scene does seem, because he's like,
I was like, he's gonna take them all
I
on.
was like,
It's
where's
just
his
one man.
superpower?
Yeah.
Yes!
It felt very much like, it felt like, that's what I say, like, it felt like a Marvel.
Well, you know, he's
Yeah.
like eternal now. So.
Yeah, it
It's
just
like slow motion, him fighting
Yeah.
guard after
Yeah.
guard, who all have guns,
Right.
Yes.
while there's a dinosaur in the background.
Right.
I was like,
But
what?
it's fine.
But it worked. Like, by that
It
point in the
worked.
movie, I'm so bought in. Anyways, this is the big stuff, right? So Bryce Dallas Howard, Claire is recruited by Lockwood, James Cromwell. Benjamin
Yes.
Lockwood is the character's name. James Cromwell, he's a good actor.
Yeah,
He's in
he
the
is.
Green Mile. He's in a lot of good stuff. And we find out that he was John Hammond's partner, and they had a falling out at some point. But you go to we're introduced to the Lockwood estate, which plays is basically where the entire second half of the movie takes place. And man, I don't know. Like, I know this movie was filmed in Hawaii, so I'm just assuming that mansion or whatever is in Hawaii. But that is the stuff that my cinematic dreams are made of. You want to talk about like an old mansion that's like a museum with like a secret laboratory and a dumbwaiter.
Oh my god, I loved dumbwaiters.
Well, a lot of people are saying that Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom is a gothic horror film, and half of it is like that's. The director he
did the
directed
orphanage
the orphanage, which I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's kind of takes place in the same kind of setting, and it's very.
I mean, when you
creepy.
see
it's a very good movie.
That shot of the Indoraptor on
see
top of the mansion, I'm like, it looked like it was out of Harry Potter or
Or
something.
Game of
That
Thrones.
scene-
Yeah.
that scene in general is like it's like a monster movie. That
Yeah.
scene of it coming through the window like super slowly.
Yeah.
And, like, it's almost like Nosferatu. He's like this,
Yes.
coming at the girl, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
anyways,
was scary.
Lockwood
Yes.
recruits Claire to kind of head up this team to get to the island. And that's where we're introduced to Lockwood's right-hand man, who I didn't suspect was nefarious at all.
Oh no.
Eli Mills. Let's talk about this guy. I was bummed when I read today that I'm the same age as that guy, even though he doesn't feel like a person that would have an age. He's just like this evil, like slimy, like
Yeah.
I don't know. What'd you think of that character, Abby?
Oh, I mean, I thought he was absolutely slimy as fuck from the very moment that we were introduced to him. My first thought was, I was like, oh god, I hope there's not another love interest for Claire, because that's stupid. But he's not. He's like just very thinly disguised as acting like a decent human being, but you can kind of see through it. And okay, so is it kind of maybe predictable to have that like face turn or whatever move? Maybe. Is it kind of hard to believe that Claire and Owen would go and get themselves in that predicament again and go back to the island? Maybe, but it's like, I want to see them do it anyway.
Right.
So I'm enjoying it.
Well,
I'm not saying it's like the most surprising stuff.
The
but
whole
I
first
liked it.
movie is, or Jurassic World. When I say first movie, I'm referencing Jurassic World. Like the storyline of weaponizing the dinosaurs and using them in like a militarized fashion. Like, we knew that was happening, so I just assumed like, okay, this guy's probably involved with Wu somehow, and they're doing this behind Lockwood's back. Like, and that is predictable, and that is how it turned out. But like, it's fine. Like, I'm not worried about it. But I thought like that whole introduction when you're in the Lockwood Mansion and you see the big Triceratops, skull and all the pictures on the wall, and you meet Lockwood. I thought it was cool because I missed John Hammond, Dr. John Hammond, as I call him. I missed John Hammond, and it was kind of cool to say, like, oh, this guy's kind of directly related. It actually reminded me of Westworld.
John Hammond.
Didn't it remind you of Westworld? A little bit, like the falling out between the two creators. Like I got a little bit of that vibe.
You do get that.
It's a little. I feel two ways about it, because on one hand, it is like a way to keep the story going, and it's a way to bring it is a way to try to get you to have those like John Hammond feels. He's got a cane, with the amber in it, and he's the same kind of character. And when you first get him in the beginning, and he's first talking to Claire, and he's in his wheelchair, his little monologue is very reminiscent of like some of the John Hammond stuff, and it really, that was a part in the movie where I was like, this feels like Jurassic Park. Like, Jurassic World is a very different movie from Jurassic Park, but there are some things like his little speech that really felt like, I was like, this feels like it could be in Jurassic Park, the original. Right. But then again, it is also like, okay, 5 movies in, and we were just now hearing of John Hammond's like secret best friend, who's basically John Hammond. Right. You know what I mean? So like,
he might actually be John Hammond.
At this point,
like,
who knows?
Like on one hand, it is just a plot device, but on the second hand, when you're 5 movies in, you got to come up with like plot devices. You know?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it because like they don't really, like, if you think about it, the second and the third movie didn't do anything to further the mythology of Jurassic Park, really. They did a little bit at the beginning of Lost World, but both of those movies just kind of became excuses for dinosaurs to chase humans.
Yeah, to just run.
Yeah.
So I kind of like
I feel like it injected more heart into the film too, because to have a character like that you feel sympathy or empathy for, you see that they're conflicted, that there was maybe the beginnings of something good that went wrong, and like you kind of the duality and all that kind of stuff that you can go into is like the original, and I like that.
And they imply that they had a falling out. They don't reveal what it is. Obviously, we find it out later, and then we find out we meet Maisie. Is that her name?
I believe it's Maisie.
The child actor, Maisie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call her Matilda. It's because it's more fun for me. And we're at some point kind of led on to the mystery of who her mother is.
Yeah, Maisie Love.
I thought she was great. Like, I saw some people today saying that. Well, I saw one person today saying that they didn't think that person was that kid was a very good actress.
I read a couple of reviews saying that, like, applauding her.
Yeah, I thought she was awesome.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
I thought she was better than the average child actor.
Yeah, actually. I mean, here's the thing.
I don't know.
Jurassic Park movies always have, like, children from broken homes. Like, it's just part of it. Like, and we need to see the dinosaurs through their
broken test tubes.
With a movie like Jurassic Park, they got to try to kind of keep a little bit of reality to it.
Yeah. And we can all relate to having a tough family. The scene later in the movie where she's backing up and the Indoraptor's, like, in the cage and like, ooh. That was good shit, man. I like that.
Hey, how about really quick the part where she's in the dumbwaiter trying to pull the top down before?
That's what I was thinking of.
And it's literally the scene. It's literally the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna spoil the fuck out of this. It's revealed later on that she's actually. It's revealed that Lockwood's daughter died in a car accident, and that she is a clone of Lockwood's daughter. And so she doesn't really have a mother. She's I don't know. Lockwood
is this all building up to the dinosaur human DNA mixture?
They're going
dinosaur. We'll see.
We don't even realize we spoiled the next Jurassic Park movie last week.
Probably. No, I think that's a weird, like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And I was like, when they first started talking about, do I look like my mother and all that kind of stuff, I was like, why are they doing this weird thing with the mom? I was a little confused. And they keep not showing that picture.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, there's one scene where she's like, hey, did my mom ever visit the park? And he was like, yeah, a long time ago. And I'm like, do we know? I was like, do we know who this person is? Is that why they're not? I was like, who can it be?
Right.
So the whole time I was like, is Lex the mom or something?
Yeah.
Like,
is it
Yeah.
Lex?
the mother?
Is it Ellie?
I was trying to think how Ellie could be. It's very much like a.
You know who I thought it was? Sarah! Sarah Harding! Sorry.
You find out that's Ian Malcolm's daughter.
Oh my
Hey, he's always looking for a future ex Mrs. Malcolm. I'm so glad. You know what? Lost World, we love you, but you're no Fallen Kingdom. Put it
You're
that
no
way.
fun. It's just not as fun as Fallen Kingdom.
So listen, they get to the island, and they meet up with like there's always like nondescript military people involved in Jurassic Park movies, but I guess the guy I was expecting the guy from Jurassic World to be in this movie, Vincent Deforn, whatever his name is.
He died. He died in Jurassic World.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
Because I knew they had. Hey,
He was eaten.
hey,
Thank you, Jake.
but I knew they had clones now.
Okay. So he knew that.
But no, so we get the new guy, Ted Levine.
Ted Levine, yeah.
Yeah.
Who we all
Silence of the
know
Lambs.
Yeah,
is
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was a point where he looked at Blue and he's like, "Would you fuck me?"
Hey, he's great in this movie.
He's awesome. He's scary as fuck.
He's very fun. You
Yeah.
know, he's like weird. But here, let me say something. So one of the things that I always wonder about going into the Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World, the same thing. Like one of my big questions when I went and saw Jurassic World was like, okay, what is going to happen for the Indominus to get out? You know, I was like, I'm like, it gets out somehow. It can't be just the power going out. And it's kind of a weird, like, it tricks them. You know, the first movie, it's kind of weird the way it gets out. So this movie, as soon as you see the Indoraptor, I'm like, all right, what's going to happen? How's this fucking Indoraptor get out? Oh, some idiot just opens the door.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like with the button.
He just opens the fucking door.
Dude, I love how smart the Indoraptor was. The Indoraptor gets shot with
fooled him.
the tranquilizer and just plays dead. And is like doing the little thing with the tail. Like, dude, that was great.
I was so into that scene. It was so good.
So they get to the island. They meet up with these mercenary dudes who obviously turn. It's very similar to Lost World in the sense that they're there to rescue the dinosaurs, but not for the same reasons. Like Claire and Owen think that they're taking
double-crossing
to the Utopia sanctuary.
Exactly. But they really just needed him to. They just really wanted them to track Blue down.
Basically, the plot of this, if you're out there and someone goes, well, what's Fallen Kingdom about? Just say this. Say, bad guys want to put dinosaurs on eBay.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what this movie's about. Mm-hmm. It's about...
They want to weaponize and sell. They want to sell to weaponize.
Right.
Exactly.
I was expecting Tony Stark to be at that auction.
It's like a prequel when he was still like a jerk.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want... Not my Tony.
Not my Tony. Okay, so... There's a lot of stuff that happened. I know we said we were only going to do a quick reaction, and we're probably like 40 minutes in already. So, here's the situation. They're on the island. They got to split up because Owen's got to track down Blue. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of his motivation for going. Like, she kind of guilts him. Claire kind of guilts Owen in to... she says, like, hey, you raised Blue. She's still there.
Yeah.
And... I don't want to speak for you guys, but if one of my cats was on an island, I'd be there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe.
First of all, just to...
I don't know, there's a lot of lava.
It depends on which cat.
Yeah, it depends on which cat.
Any of them, even the outdoor cats I'd go back for. No, but real quick, these dinosaurs, they reminded me of I felt that connection, like I feel for my cats, like watching them.
They did a really good job of making you have like an emotional connection to the animals in this movie.
I read that they, first of all, there's more dinosaurs like in this movie than any of the previous films. Like there's more species of dinosaurs, and there's just also there's just more. There's way more dinosaur shit happening. But I read that they played around with they did a lot more research with big zoo animals, elephants and stuff like that, and they tried to take note of different angles they could show these animals in that made you feel, like it was a little more real, or like these people, just like that would make you feel a better connection with the animal.
Empathize,
than just being like, oh, there's a dinosaur. So,
right.
And that kind of stuff worked, I think.
Like when you see the little ones with the parent, like that kind of stuff, that's what was getting me. I was like, oh.
That stuff was great. I mean, there's some emotional triggers in this movie. We're about to get there. So they split up. They end up in like this. You've seen it in all the trailers, like that dark room communication center, and all the lava's coming down. That's when Claire and Franklin are together, and they got to escape. What's the dinosaur in that scene?
It's a baryonyx.
Okay, the baryonyx, and that's a really cool scene. Like the way it's shot. And again, really good lighting. You see the lava dripping.
When it drips.
Yeah. Awesome. And like that's a really good classic, like by the numbers Jurassic Park escaping from a dinosaur scene. You got the ladder coming down, they're climbing up.
Let's go. Small
and
confined space.
That was all good, but the stuff happening simultaneously with Owen and Blue was like, that was incredible. I thought that was some of the best stuff in the movie.
Yeah, it was cool stuff. I mean, especially because you're seeing the original explorer that fell out of the tree from the T-Rex. Like that's the explorer from the T-Rex attack, and you get the little like object and mirror closer than they appear. And
yes,
you get that cool little fake out with the compies. And like Blue shows up, and another thing I read that they did. So they used a little more animatronics in this movie than in the last film. They only had one animatronic. I read that in this there were 5 or 6. But one thing, whether they were using animatronics or not, and I noticed this before I read that they did this. They wanted to like show a little more attention to like skin texture and like the look of the dinosaur skin just like looking a little more real. And I feel like these scenes are the first time I kind of noticed that whenever Blue gets close, to letting Owen, touch her snout and stuff. I took a little notice of like, it just looks more textured. It looks more
like the tactile,
more real. Yeah, it just looks more.
Yeah, I thought the VFX were really good in this movie. I saw somebody complaining about the CGI and stuff today. I was just like, I don't like it's obviously you have to have computer if you want to see movies where there's hundreds of dinosaurs like running away from an active volcano, like prepare to see computer generated effects.
Yeah, but at least this movie had
I just want like there's only certain like animatronics are amazing. They always look better. But you can't make an animatronic like run that fast.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can't. It just doesn't work. Like in Jurassic Park when they're using like the full size animatronic Tyrannosaur, it's standing still basically. It's not doing a whole lot of like they had separate legs so they can do this.
Right.
And in all the like big wide shots where it's moving, it's CGI. Like CGI is going to be necessary, and it doesn't always look as good as it. Like there are a few times in this movie where I was like, but the more there's happening, it's like it's gonna be. It can't all look. It's not all gonna look perfect. Right. It's just not.
All I was gonna say is at least the movie had a color palette, and I felt like it was beautiful and like very much like there was a vision behind it. Like there were some really beautiful shots, like specifically when Claire and Franklin go underwater in the gyrosphere and like the fire.
That shit made me almost have a panic attack.
I was having it.
It's
a good panic attack.
Inside, they did a really good job.
When they're fucking
like
Jin and Sun with all the water coming up.
So once Claire and Franklin get out of the, they close the hatch or whatever, and that's when the lava's kind of starting to take over, and you see that scene of Chris Pratt running, and he's like, run. Like, it's kind of silly, but if I was in that situation, like, that's what I would be doing. I'd be running away from dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And you just see, like, it sucks because a lot of them die, but you see all of these different, like, breeds, like, running for their life, and it's really heartbreaking. And then simultaneously, that's where you see Blue get captured, you see the T-Rex get captured, you see, like, it's really sad when you see, like, these giant, like, animals being put and, like, restrained and, like, taken out. Like, it sucks to watch, but yeah, speaking of that scene, that is fucking crazy. Like when they hide behind the gyrosphere and the T-Rex comes out and like Claire and Franklin get it, like and they jump in the water. Like all of that was really well done. Like really good action. Really good action. So cool. So that kind of takes us to the saddest moment in film history.
Yeah, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Abby?
Well, I don't know if I'm the one to bring it up, but I mean, we all cried, I imagine, at the very same moment watching. What was it, a brachiosaur? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It is a brachiosaur. So the very first dinosaur you ever see on Isla Nublar is also the very last dinosaur you ever see. Like the beginning of dinosaur life.
Why are you doing this?
The beginning of the dinosaur life is a brachiosaurus, and the ending of life is a brachiosaurus. Not only is it brachiosaurus, like you're pretty sure it's the same one that they see when they come in, and they're they have that moment that echoes the first film where they're just like, look at this fucking big beautiful dinosaur, and you just slowly, very slowly, are just forced to watch this creature just like become engulfed in flame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was also the moment Abby decided to turn to me and tell me that she wanted to get a John Deere hat.
Oh, I think
that's because if she didn't like change the subject,
I was gonna fucking lose my shit. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was well done.
I was also falling in love with Claire, but yeah, that moment was.
It was pretty heartbreaking, man, and. And that's all.
You shushed me when I tried to tell you. A moment.
Yeah, that was a rough scene for sure. That was a rough scene, but it was like, it sucked. But you know what else? Like, this is how fucked up this is. Like, I saw that scene and it made me very sad. But when that scene was over, I was like, okay, surely that was the saddest thing in this movie. And as sad as that was, that has to mean that they're not going to kill off the Tyrannosaur.
Right.
Because I was like, that is the sad scene in this movie. They're not going to do that twice. And if the T-Rex dies, it's going to be kind of an event, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, the T-Rex is...
That kind of made me think, like...
The T-Rex has definitely kind of had like an Arnold Schwarzenegger level of in the first movie, the T-Rex is bad. And by the end of that movie, it's saving them. Mm-hmm. And from then on, like, she's great. That T-Rex, like, at the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, when you see the T-Rex break into the zoo and it's looking at that lion, I'm pretty sure she was there just to help that lion out somehow.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's going to
help. Becoming friends.
She liberated that entire zoo.
Oh, she woke.
Wait a minute. She's Claire. She's the Claire of dinosaurs.
Whoa. Hey, it is kind of like, it's cool to root for the T-Rex, and it is like, that's a lot of people's favorite. That's my favorite dinosaur. The Tyrannosaurus Rex has always been my favorite dinosaur, and Jurassic Park just made it my favorite, like even harder than it already was. And it's great to see them keep using the T-Rex, and it's fun to be like, hey, there she is. Like that is the T-Rex. But also, the T-Rex breakout scene in the first, it is like the scariest thing. Like that scene is the most like that whole T-Rex scene in the first film. It's like that is like a masterpiece of movie making.
It is, and you're never gonna hit that.
It's beautiful. It's fucking frightening.
Yeah.
And like as frightening as that is, just like you said, the T-Rex kind of isn't scary anymore. Now it's like, yes, the T-Rex is here, and
she's
the
here.
First time you're like,
tell everyone she's here.
She's here.
Yeah. Now it's like, hey, let's go let the T-Rex out.
Speaking about before we move to the T-Rex scene, the blood transfusion, which is one of the best scenes of all Jurassic Park movies.
I love that scene.
Can we talk about when Chris Pratt, before he has to do his like limp lava dance, there's like that Stegosaurus that's just like licking him.
Yeah,
was it a Stegosaurus?
Gross, right? It was not I don't think it was a Stegosaur, but it was some big.
Yeah. Something big with a big old tongue.
I liked that.
Gross.
I thought that was
cool. It's funny and it's scary back and forth. Huh? Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite part, but I liked it.
I didn't like it as much as the blood transfusion. But
so this scene where they're back in the boat, they like sneak on the boat, and there's a lot of sneaking around going on in Jurassic Park. I'm trying to think. Oh, that's what it was. Blue got shot by those assholes, and they needed to save Blue.
Yeah, you say like it's weird though. You're like, oh, Blue got shot with that asshole, but also, like, do you think you would not shoot the dinosaur whose claw was digging into your stomach?
Hey, not if it was Chris Pratt's dinosaur.
Also, I'd be okay with that.
I don't know. So basically, they have to do a blood transfusion, and they need to get the blood. This is like one of those ideas. Like they were probably like just throwing everything against the wall, and guy.
This is one of those completely unbelievable, like kind of dumb ideas, but
they somehow pull it off.
You know, they're in a room where they're like, okay, this idea is dumb, but at this point, you know,
there's no way that they would have been able to puncture that T-Rex's skin to get the blood. No. But let's just go with it. The T-Rex is
gonna get this needle through his hide.
Exactly. So Claire and Owen get in the cage with the T-Rex. It's completely zonked out, and it kind of turns into the little comedy routine.
Animatronic, by the way.
It was it. Yeah, it had to be. Yeah,
that's why it's only like neck up. That whole part was an animatronic. Yeah.
Abby, you loved this scene.
I mean, I was already liking Claire a lot more, but like seeing her straddling the neck and like working with Owen to get the blood out and being caught inside of there. Then when the gate gets shut and it's like there was just a lot of like tension and
it was tension, but it was also like a very fun.
But it was fun.
Some like there were a few jokes.
It was romantic somehow.
Funny,
yeah, exactly.
It was one of those like nail biting, but also like kind of laughing through it.
When Chris Pratt said how bad she smelled.
Yeah, like that's exactly.
That kind of made me mad. I was like, oh man, she stinks.
This scene, like there's been like pictures of this scene. There's been like
a lot of it was in the trailer.
I don't know if it was was some of it in the trailer, but I know like I've seen a lot of stills come out of like Chris Pratt like looking the T-Rex in the eye and stuff like that. And yeah, you're right, it was in the trailer because he's like, this is going to be awesome, that kind of thing. It always looked like it was going to be one of those scenes where I'm like, oh, what are they doing? Like this, what is this stupid thing going to be? But then it is one of the like.
And then then you realize it's even dumber than you thought, but it still works.
It's dumber, but it's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But like Claire carrying that big blood bag, that's really the moment where I was like, I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's where the other character kind of does her thing. She's like a paleontologist or a veterinarian, and she saves Blue. And God damn it, I'm glad because I've really come to like Blue a lot.
Like a lot.
I want one.
Yeah.
And if our friends at Chronicle Collectibles are listening,
we want one.
They're putting out a 1-to-1 scale Blue baby Blue statue, and I don't know, just like let me check it out. Just send one our way. I just want to see.
We just need to look at it. We'll send it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let me see.
Change email. From.
We're gonna get off track for a second, but speaking of Chronicle Collectibles. I think I might buy that raptor hatchling from the first Jurassic Park.
Hey, it's cute. Just don't let Dr. Wu anywhere near it. You bred velociraptors. Okay, we are going to get off track. I'm very tired.
It's like 12:30 right now.
We're going. They get back to the mainland. They go to Lockwood's mansion. Shit really starts hitting the fan. That's kind of where the bigger reveal of what the bad guys' plans are, right? Mm-hmm. So they're gonna auction off all these dinosaurs to basically. It's like
Taken.
It's like James Bond. It's like a group of international arms dealers. It's funny if you think about it, because like these guys are bidding. They have an auction, and we meet this gunner, like the little dude, the auctioneer.
The dude from he's in The Mist.
Oh, yeah. That's okay.
I think he's in like Captain America, those movies too.
Yeah, he's in Captain America.
He is in Captain America. You know, the thing that's weird to me about him and the main villain guy in this movie, is that both of them have very
blonde hair. Sorry.
Sure. They have very apparent, like, very obvious fake accents that they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen the guy who's the main villain. I've seen him in a few other things.
He's British, right?
He has like a very British accent, and his American accent is so fake sounding.
Yeah.
And when the two of the, and you've seen the little dude, I can't remember his name, but he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't sound anything like that. So when the two of them are having conversations together, it almost seems like I'm watching a Saturday Night Live skit because both of their accents are super weird and fake.
Yeah, this guy was the voice of Dobby in the Harry Potter movies, so he's super British. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now
Craig's interested.
Now I'm perking up. Okay, so here's the situation: they're auctioning off all the dinosaurs, and they have now captured Claire and Owen, and they are being kept in there's basically a basement where they're keeping all of these dinosaurs behind bars, and Claire and Owen are also behind bars. And the one thing that's kind of funny, it's kind of nitpicky, they never really seem to be that concerned that they're being held captive by evil people. They're just like, oh, well, this sucks. We need to get out of here. But I guess when you're with Chris Pratt, you just know you're going to get out of that
situation.
situation.
Just know he's going to get you out.
Well, they just got off like a island that was being destroyed by a volcano and all that shit. So I'm sure they're kind of like... I think
it's probably weird. They're probably...
In shock?
You know what? They're in shock the whole last half of this movie, probably.
Yeah.
I bet. That's why Chris Pratt gets the superpowers when he's just fighting guys.
Let's talk about what is actually my favorite aspect of this movie. Is so the cell that they're being held in is next to the what's that dinosaur called?
No, I want to hear you say it.
Stigmalock?
Stygimoloch?
Stygimoloch!
Yeah.
I went to high school with a guy named Stygimoloch.
I'm holding one right now. It's the most common one.
Stygimoloch.
Stiggy?
I'm pretty sure that's what
Stiggy Azalea?
If you look at the toys or something, it's like Stiggy in quotes.
And what's controversial about that dinosaur is that some paleontologists believe that he is actually just an adolescent version of another famous dinosaur called
Pachycephalosaurus.
Yeah.
Oh, you were built. I didn't know.
Who's in the Lost World?
Right.
Okay. Will you say that again, Jake?
Pachycephalosaurus.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's gonna
like in Jurassic or Jurassic World when they're like the Packies got out or something like that. Another Packy got out.
And that's gonna be our poll for the week. Do you think that the Stygomasaurus is actually a Packy, or listen, they're in the cell next to him.
Stiggy.
He's got the kind of the bone helmet head, and he's rustling around.
Yeah,
and
like a hammerhead dome.
He fucking just they trick him into hammering through the wall and then the gate. But what happens after that is the best stuff because he's just out and about and he kind of is almost kind of like punch drunk or something.
He gets a little disoriented at one point. I love it.
He's just like
wanders off.
And it was
he's like a little hero. You know? Kind of saves the day in a way.
Yes.
I want somebody to make
He's the dark horse of the film.
I want somebody to make a montage of all his scenes in the movie with Mariah Carey's Hero. Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
Hero comes along. Okay, it's late.
So anyways, they get out and then they've kind of teasing. We'll keep going here. They've been teasing.
We're just gonna do it.
They've been teasing the Indoraptor, and then the Indoraptor's like basically the barge of the auction, right? So
except for they're not. It's not supposed to be for sale, and this is like it's weird to me. So this is something that I don't quite get. I'm a little mixed up on the timeline here because the Indoraptor is supposed to be Velociraptor and Indominus.
Right.
How? So like the beginning of the movie is them going to get the Indominus like DNA so they can do that.
Right.
But the timeline, it doesn't say that has to be sometime before the volcano and stuff happens because that dinosaur has to have time to be created and grown.
I guess the timeline's not.
But also they don't get blue until way later. So like that stuff is I'm a little mixed up with that. And they also very quickly are just like, hey, once we get blue, we can make the Indominus to where it's obedient.
Right.
But for now, we have one that's not obedient.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Why? Why did you make the one that's not?
It's like when you have a kid that you can't control. You're like, well, we can have another kid. Maybe that kid will be better.
Maybe it'll be better.
We've learned a little bit.
You just get another cat.
It's just like that. One thing I was going to talk about is let's say Jurassic World didn't happen and the park was fully functional and kept going, and that volcano, like, why the fuck were they building a theme park with a known active volcano? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
who would have insured it?
Well, I mean, but here's the thing, though. How active do we know that Yellowstone's a super volcano? You know, but it hasn't gone off in like 10,000 years. So
but Jake, have they built any theme parks at Yellowstone? I rest my case.
It's just a national park.
Are there any dinosaurs there? No. Okay.
Are there hundreds of people there on a daily basis?
I haven't seen it, so therefore it hasn't happened.
Yeah, you know.
Anyways, okay, cool. So the auction's going off, and all these people are acting evil, and they're like, "We don't want nuclear weapons anymore. We're evil Russian terrorists. We want fucking ankylosauruses." Like,
well, the thing is like I feel like that's completely what would happen. Like, you know, they make a point to be like, it's not all for, like, some of these people might want them for weapons. Some of these people might want to hunt them. Some of these people might just want weird exotic pets.
Yep.
They make a point to be like, people would want dinosaurs for all kinds of reasons,
and
none of them would be good reasons. Some of them are probably like, I mean, some of these people probably want these dinosaurs so they can just do the exact same thing and make more money and keep.
Hey, it's a weird world, so let's not forget. Some people want them because they want to fuck a dinosaur.
That's what I was. I was like, "Who's going to say it first? Someone's
going to fuck a dinosaur."
Yeah.
Listen, hey, but it's also implied that all the people that bought those dinosaurs, they took them with them. Like, you see them, like, most of them
were carted off.
Yeah,
and the cargo went out.
And the ones that, obviously, we'll get there.
Some of them, yeah.
Okay, so the Indoraptor goes up for auction, and this is right about the time when Claire and Owen are escaping and shit really starts hitting the fan. My memory's lapsing a little bit. What? Oh, is it? What happens? Jake, fill me in, because I'm kind of.
The Stygimoloch gets out and starts beating the fuck out of everybody, and that's when they start. That's when you get the like weird action scene with Owen.
Yeah,
and then but like right after that is like nobody's in that room, and that's when you get Ted Levine's character who lets out the Indo.
Right. And we didn't mention it earlier, but part of Ted Levine's thing is he's collecting teeth off the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
It's like a trophy.
It makes you hate him.
And he opens the door because he's gonna
Dude, yeah, it's great character to it make when he like pulls that first tooth and he's like, "Oh, that's gonna hurt tomorrow," like, or whenever you wake up, you're just like, "Fuck you, this guy's a total piece of shit."
Fuck you.
Yeah, so it makes the payoff when he gets.
He gets that arm ripped off.
Yes,
like, he gets that arm ripped off for that, and I mean, then he gets his face ripped off. So
it's fucking awesome.
It's good motivation, and you enjoy watching it.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Well, hey, I guess at this point, we around this spot is where we get the revelation that the girl is a clone.
Yeah.
So throughout this whole, Maisie is kind of it's actually kind of sad. You kind of get, she's got this like nanny who takes care of her, but you kind of get the vibe that maybe she's almost like captive inside this mansion.
Yeah, it's weird.
You wonder why. Like, is she sick? Why is it?
Oh, we
as the only child.
We kind of forgot the most important thing in the movie. Evil dude. By the way, we've seen the movie once. We don't know all the character name yet. I've got my notes. Eli fucking kills Lockwood. He gives him the old pillow treatment.
That's a dark ass moment.
He does. It is, for sure.
Lockwood kind of figures out what's going on, that he's being betrayed, and is and then Maisie discovers that, and she kind of, that's why she leans on Owen and Claire when they all kind of, run into them.
Because she's just found her dead grandfather.
Yeah, she's now like
it's
an orphan.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Her dead grandfather / clone father. Send in the clown. What if it was Mini-Me instead of her? Imagine the entire movie. But it's Mini-Me instead of Maisie.
Well, it was supposed to be, they had the recast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last minute recasting. Rest in peace. From the moment I heard Frau say I had a clown. We have hit full Baronix.
We're pushing
It's
midnight.
late. It's
Yeah.
late. We
Oh
gotta
no,
do it.
it's 12:30.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're almost done. Okay. And this is just our first review. So Indoraptor gets out. The last act of this movie is just your classic Jurassic Park. Indoraptor.
No, it's not. It's not your classic Jurassic Park. It's your classic fucking
horror movie.
It's like Dracula or
Okay, that's fair.
It's like a fucking monster movie. People are calling it a gothic horror movie, and
right.
That's exactly what it is.
The scene where Maisie gets back in bed and the Indoraptor kind of crawls down through the window is really spooky.
Mm-hmm.
It's very scary. Watching it, like seeing its shadow on the wall, is very like reminiscent of old monster movies, and just like its weird, skinny fingered hand, like creeping closer to like it's just gonna pull. It's just weird. It's like you don't see dinosaurs acting that way,
right?
Like it's gonna pull the blankets down.
And I remember when the first.
Well, it like fingers through her ponytail at one point when she's standing there, and like that's a sensation that you feel go down your back as it's happening. It's like, oh.
I remember when that trailer came out. I was talking to a buddy. He was like, "Oh, that's definitely a dream sequence. What scenario could play out to where this dinosaur is in this girl's bedroom?" And I was like, "Well,
this one.
You've never read the Jurassic Park 4 script."
Well, they're like, I mean, Jurassic Park has always been one of those things where it's like, they're trying to scare you with the dinosaurs, but it's like, hey, in order to really be scared or attacked by a dinosaur, you have to kind of go to Jurassic Park.
Right.
So it's like, hey, just don't go to Jurassic Park. But they're like, hey, you know what? Now they can sneak through your goddamn window. Like, now they're in the real world, and they can just come in and eat you while you're sleeping.
Right. And there's no description that we could give that's going to do this scene or these scenes justice. Like the third act is really fun. Like the battle between the humans and the Indoraptor is, I don't know.
Yeah,
you could put it up there with anything else. Oh yeah, and that's where Blue kind of comes back. Blue's rejuvenated and repaired thanks to our new side characters, and Blue comes to save the day. Blue's learned from the T-Rex. Blue knows. One thing we didn't talk about, which is another one of the more touching things, is there's a scene where Maisie finds a laptop or whatever and is watching the scenes of Chris Pratt raising the Velociraptors. And I love which was the Velociraptor that he's first with? Where like
Delta,
with Delta, and they show like the second he plays dead, the fucking thing attacks him. But like
he's like that.
This scene, I know you really had an emotional reaction to.
I like grabbed your hand. It just reminds me so much. I love cats. I talk about them all the time, and it when you're bonding and imprinting on a young animal like that, or holding a kitten, or obviously these are wild dinosaurs, but having that connection and watching them grow and learn, that's just something that I like doing. And I responded like, it's hard not to get choked up watching that stuff if you're like a pet owner or an animal
and
lover.
it doesn't come off cheap. It comes off very like, who can't relate to having a dog or a cat and having it like be loyal to you and
realizing it's smart and it empathizes and it's like mimicking your actions and like all that kind of learning stuff. Like that's just like you're bonding with it and it's special.
So they've got this whole final battle with the Indoraptor, and then all of these. This is the big moment. All of the. I can't believe we've recapped this entire movie.
Yeah, we did it.
Kind of, yeah.
The
little bit of skipping around, but
skipping around. Well, we got a lot.
Some skips. We skipped over a death.
Did
the dinosaurs are still in cages. And I'm trying to think. Okay, they're still captive, and they're dying. There's like a cyanide gas being released.
The ventilation stops working.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that really like. I'm like, so if the ventilation stops working, a poison comes in. Like,
it's poison. It's poison.
I don't know where that's coming. I don't know if I missed something there or if that was just. Yeah. Anyway, that's what's happened.
Yeah.
And then Claire has to make this decision of whether or not to release them. And it's kind of like this thing where she's been fighting to save these animals, like it's her entire cause. And now she's faced with this reality of like, there's a bunch of dinosaurs, and we're talking about like carnivores, and there's a T-Rex.
Saving them means risking the lives of
this is like
human beings.
There's no turning back at this point. And Jake, I know you had a strong reaction to that.
I did, because like I kind of got a little upset, but I feel like if I was not in that place, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Like, I feel like I just would have hit that fucking button. I'd be like, I don't care. I would hit that button. And I don't know if that
2 months later, Jake's being attacked by pterodactyls. He's like, I hit the fucking button. What are you doing to me?
No. I mean, it might be, I don't know, that might be like a rash decision or whatever, but I feel like I would have hit that button immediately. And I feel like for someone like Claire, who has made such a change between the first film and this film, and, you know, she's leading the dinosaur protection group,
right.
I feel like she would have hit that button immediately too. And
right.
I mean, it makes sense why they, you know, who knows? Maybe she would have just turned around and hit the button if Maisie didn't do it. But I understand the emotional reaction that they wanted to get of, you know, Maisie being the one to hit that. Like, it makes complete sense. So it's like, can't really get mad at the character for that.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I'm like, are they about to let all these dinosaurs die?
Yeah.
I was like, you know, it's like for a second, like, you know, they're going to make a third movie. So what's going to happen? But also, like, I'm like, so are they going to just off screen kill the Tyrannosaurus Rex? Is that what's going to happen? Because that seems stupid and cheap and whatever. But I did think maybe for a second they were going to do that.
But Maisie hit the button.
Yeah, she saves the day.
Button. Yeah.
So Maisie hits the button. And I thought that was man, you talk about like character development stuff. Like, she is this little girl who has a limited view of the world, but she knows that she was not made in a natural way, and like she was created in a laboratory, but she's still a human being who has all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And she is seeing herself
with them.
in the dinosaurs. So of course she's like, these are animals that deserve a chance, just like I deserve a chance to get out of this goddamn mansion and finally eat McDonald's.
This wonderful, huge, beautiful home, but also, as a kid, you want to get out and socialize and live your life. So.
She wants to socialize. I just want to see what else.
I just want to socialize with this dinosaur.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of it. The movie ends with, you get this moment with Owen and Blue, and Owen's almost talking, like it's almost like a human thing. Owen's like, "Come on, come with me."
Yeah.
But Blue runs out and the T-Rex runs out, and then you get a little montage at the end of basically
dinosaurs all over.
You get a cool little. We first get like a cool little callback to the first film where the Tyrannosaur comes out of nowhere and eats what's his name, the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
And like, not only does the T-Rex eat him, but like the other like Carnotaurus shows up and like kind of tries to steal a bite.
Yeah, it's funny.
You get to see this dude like.
I love seeing those like little personality moments.
Yeah.
But and then you kind of goes back to the Ian Malcolm voiceover when he says, "Welcome to Jurassic World," where this is now the new reality. There are dinosaurs loose, and you see the T-Rex break into a zoo.
Yep.
There's like a lion, and you see what else do you see? You see Blue kind of like looking,
like in the desert, which is where Velociraptors lived. That's where you see the mosasaur in the fucking wave, which is terrifying. Jesus Christ. Now, if you knew, so if I found out one day, like, hey, this is true, this is confirmed, there is a mosasaurus, it is this big, and it is loose. It can be anywhere. There's only one, but it can be in any ocean at any time. I'm like, cool. Not taking that chance.
Yeah.
Never setting foot in the ocean again.
You heard my my idea for my. I posted it today for my. There's a way to reboot Jaws within the Jurassic World universe.
Yeah,
you get Grant, Owen, and Franklin.
Okay.
And there's a movie of them just hunting down the mosasaur. And it's a Jaws remake in the fucking Jurassic Park
Yeah.
universe.
Okay.
Ghost.
It's a ghost too.
Franklin drives the boat.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
dumb.
watch
I would
that.
watch it.
Would you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Franklin's
watch it.
neurotic. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see Grant kind of like we were talking about that the other day. Anyways, we don't need to keep going on that.
No,
silliness.
but later.
All right, cool. Movie ends. There's dinosaurs everywhere. Worst post-credit scene of all time.
Fuck that.
Yep.
Where we just see some pterodactyls in
Vegas.
In Vegas.
Was that a commercial for some, like, what is that?
Somebody theorized that.
That's what I read.
I don't know, but it was the most, like, it was a waste of an after credit scene.
Yeah.
Completely.
So no Alan Grant.
Yeah, especially as we were all anticipating, like, original characters.
I mean, I halfway through, you know, like, when you're watching this movie, I know that there was some rumors about maybe Sam Neill popping up at some point, but like as you're watching this movie, you know, you can kind of figure out like, hey, there's not really any room in this story for Grant to show up.
I actually, though, the way it ended, though, I don't disagree with what you just said, but like I think it makes sense that if there are dinosaurs loose in the world now and it's part of like society and part of like the ecosystem and part of what's happening, like they're going to need to lean on like experts and paleontologists.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense to me that they could open it up for the third film. Like I could easily see them bringing Grant or Ellie back for the third film.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I feel like we should put it out there now that on our next episode we're gonna maybe like
we're gonna talk
throw out some pitches for
pitches.
Jurassic World Part 3.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap it up. Last question. Where does this fit as far as sequels?
In the realm of
in Jurassic
all
Park.
of them?
Yeah.
Are we ranking them?
We got to rank them.
Okay.
After one viewing, I know it's tough.
I already know.
It is tough, and I'm not sure. I mean, I definitely would say I like it better than Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. It's hard for me to decide if I like this movie more than the first Jurassic World. I think I do, but also it's fresh and new in my brain, so it's hard for me to be like, I like this one. I think there are things in both that edge out some things in the other.
Yeah. Abigail?
I would say that my favorite, obviously, is the original, Jurassic Park. This movie, Fallen Kingdom, is number 2. And then Jurassic World would be after that. And then I like Jurassic Park 3 and then The Lost World. That's how it goes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all a hot take. Very hot.
That's that is a hot take. Yeah.
Well,
that's how I would, if it was like I had them all here and I'm just going to watch by how much I enjoy them, that's how I would run it down.
Yeah. I think I'm right there with Jake. I think right now I have this kind of aligned with Jurassic World. I've seen Jurassic World so many times now. It's going to take more viewings and a little bit of space to figure out.
You know, it's weird because like there's a lot of stuff that I really loved in this movie, but like if I think about it, I feel like I kind of like the T-Rex and Indominus fight more than I like the Indoraptor and Blue fight. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the finale.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like the Rex and the Indominus is a little more exciting and it was a little more emotional, I think, and it almost had a better payoff to me. But everything surrounding those fights was like, it was very interesting. So
I like the final battle in Jurassic World's amazing, and it's one of my favorite. Like just all of it, I've talked about it so many times. I think that the setting in this movie is very interesting and new and different as far as like all around the mansion and going through the roof and everything. I would say that maybe Jurassic World had the better closing scene or closing battle, but Fallen Kingdom has definitely the better opener.
And I also think just the ending past that fight for Fallen Kingdom is like just the whole like, hey, this is life now. Like that whole ending is pretty impactful, I think.
Right. Yeah, and now we get to see pterodactyls attacking children on baseball fields,
snatching balls.
That is the opening of Jurassic World 3, probably.
Right. Cool. Well, we have a lot of time to figure that out because the next Jurassic World comes out in the year 2021.
Whoa.
That is 3 years from now. So
sounds
A
about
lot
right.
of time.
So there's going to be plenty of time to figure out what's going to happen next. But we're going to keep talking about it. Appreciate everybody checking it out. Please don't. Well, I guess if you're at this point, you can't stop listening because we've already spoiled it. But go see it again. Now that you have our thoughts, go see it again. And as always, make sure you check us out on social media at YHS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast. For Abigail and Jake and myself and all of our friends in Yes Have Some Group Therapy on Facebook, which is our official Facebook discussion group, we wish you a happy Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom weekend.
Yes.
We love these movies. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to go.
Yeah, a lot more Jurassic Park talk coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Jurassic Park talk.
Yeah, for sure. We fought to see that movie. We went and saw it late last night, and we're up late talking about it because we love it. So, there you go.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Yes, have some.
All right, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
I wasn't sure if we won.